Hey everybody, welcome back to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. And I'm going to try to quickly get through the second chapter here today, and finishing up the trial here. We thought we had everything wrapped up. The witnesses had shown that they're untrustworthy, and then another witness jumped up and said he hadn't testified yet, so that made the judge say that we need to continue this trial. So close, but then we got victory snatched away from our grasp. So now we are continuing with the trial of Isabella Cantabella. Oh boy. A group of witnesses huddling up before a joint testimony in a witch trial. You can't make this stuff up. Inquisitor Barnum, if I may ask you a question.
Yes, my lord.
We now have 5 witnesses on the stand, so I must ask. Why was this obnoxious-looking man left out of your initial group of witnesses? Maybe because he's drunk as hell?
Baldy's right, Barnum. That's just cold-blooded.
There is but one reason, my lord. I did not know this witness even existed.
Yeah?
You, sir, failed to come forward. When we were asking for witnesses for this very trial, you were nowhere to be seen.
Well, that's because I didn't hear a peep about it. I ain't usually around that night, especially except for maybe a Rogue's Tavern.
So you're basically telling us that you were up all night drinking.
Anyway, salt water under the bridge now as far as I'm concerned. Just leave it rest to yours truly. Ha 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 ha!
During the last interrogation, the defendant brought forth some surprising proof.
Namely, that there was a little possibility that the accused could have used magic.
I've never heard such a claim. It must be the doing of this logic.
What rubbish! Logic, is there? I ain't got a clue what that is. But I do know that this bread-baking baker ought to head back to his bakery.
Eloquently said.
Oi, Gramps, give me and me partners over here a chance to speak. You want to know how this witch managed to be holding that scepter, don't you?
Oh, when you say Gramps, you wouldn't mean me, would you?
I fail to see anyone else matching such a description.
We'll show you she's a witch. I'll bet Snowy's beautiful white coat on it.
In God. All right, team, let's do this. Winners is...
Yes, well, let's proceed with the testimonies. Why do I feel like I've totally lost control of this situation? It's clear as day. The spell is a witch. We are not backing down on this.
When she dropped her lantern, the scepter was not yet in her hands.
The scepter might have been hidden by magic and carried on her back.
The rogues grabbed her by the hand and held the lantern, so she must have been had another way of holding the scepter. That's easy. The girl just put the bucket down on the ground and picked up the witch's magic stick.
So, she had the witch's scepter behind her back. Then she dropped the lantern and reached for the scepter after it fell. If that is the case, then it must have been possible for the accursed to have used the accused to have used magic. Keep reading accursed. This is bad. Thanks to this guy, now all the witnesses seem extra determined to pin this thing on Isabella. They each harbor a shared anger toward witches and magic. Such is the cause of their strong desire to see a guilty verdict passed as quickly as possible. However, such confidence is undoubtedly bound to cloud their better judgment and thinking. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think these guys mean any real harm, but they're all riled up. They don't even realize how distorted their idea of what happened tonight has become. At least, that's how it seems. This isn't good, Professor. The witnesses aren't thinking straight. They're completely blind to the truth.
Sir Baker, brother, Sir Wright.
Yes?
You do not appear to be a mere simple baker, that much is clear. On the other hand, you are no ordinary defender either. Never before has a defender managed to clash and do battle with me here on this battlefield as an equal. Sir Blue Knight, this trial has not yet been decided. If there is any doubt in your interrogation, I will not hesitate to strike your case down where it stands. I understand. Defender, please begin your interrogation.
Objection!
I'm afraid what really happened is not quite so simple.
Well, what? What you talking about?
It only just stopped raining moments before the crime took place. As a result, the ground was very muddy. If Miss Cantabella really had placed this bucket on the ground, like you claimed she did, then it should be caked with mud, just like the lantern was after it fell. Well, I'd say that clears up your muddy testimony, wouldn't you?
Well. Hey, Barnum,
What?
you just gonna sit there looking pretty? Come on, give me a hand here.
Flattery will get you nowhere, witness, other than perhaps to the dungeon. At any rate, there's but one question we ought to ask. Why is there no mud on that bucket? To the witness with the goat, may I ask you a question? Huh? Are you talking to us? Indeed. You admitted to the court that you returned home with the milk bucket. Illegally, I might add. My, oh my, such harsh words, Inquisitor. When you took the bucket home, you must have simply wiped the mud from the bucket. Is that correct? You know, now that you mention it... No way, don't tell me. That milk bucket? Oh, that's right, I remember now. I don't know if exactly what was on that bucket was mud exactly, but it certainly was dirty. Before taking it inside with me, I remember wiping it clean with an old rag. Are you kidding me? Exceptional work, Inquisitor Barnum. Right, it all makes perfect sense. See, we were right all along, weren't we, Inquisitor Barnum?
I knew that sword wasn't just for show, Barnum. You sliced his argument in two.
Objection!
Witness, Miss Mary. What is it? You're absolutely sure there was mud stuck to this milk bucket? Oh my, well, truth be told, I don't remember whether it was mud exactly, but I do remember cleaning the bucket off when I got home. Ugh. It would seem the defense has failed to disprove the witness's claims. Of that we can be quite certain.
Ha ha, I'll teach you, Bluey. You got that right. Do me a favor, will you, Gramps? I want to change me testimony just a tiny bit.
I will allow it, only if the witness refrains from name-calling in the future.
You You got it, my lord. Well, all this court mumbo-jumbo has left me thirstier than a dog in the desert.
Doesn't seem big enough for all that gulping.
The witch there was holding the stick. I even heard her say the incantation thingy. That's right, I witnessed it all.
Hold it!
But no one knows for sure if Miss Cantabella dropped that milk bucket on the ground. Because there's no mud on it. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, we went over this already. We know that goat lady wiped off all the mud.
Objection!
However, Miss Mary doesn't clearly remember whether or not it was mud that was stuck on the bucket. We don't really remember, but maybe. I guess maybe there was mud on it. I mean, she couldn't hold the scepter without putting the bucket on the ground. Miss Mary, please give a definitive answer.
Y'all done, Bluey? Talk all you want, 'cause it ain't gonna help, you see? The five of us, we saw that witch.
I say.
Went and did, we saw it clear as day.
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister? Earth to Gramps? Defender, when you say Gramps, might you be, by any chance, referring to me? No, of course not, Your Honor. Mr. Wordsmith, are you listening? I heard you quite clearly the first time, young man. These ears hear all. The crackling of the fire, the whispering of the crowd, and now, your voice. If that's the case, then allow me to ask you a question. You were clearly deep in thought just now. Do you have something to say about this man's testimony? Indeed so. I felt something was amiss. However, what that means I cannot say. Amiss. Witness, could you tell us what precisely was amiss with this third-rate testimony from this third-rate witness? What a burn, Barnum. 5 heads are better than 1. 10 eyeballs better than 2. As I listened to this man's testimony, I could not help but become aware of something most odd. Tonight, when the crime occurred, we all made haste to that terrible scene. The delicious scent of mid-evening dinner permeated through the air, the shadows of those present cast through the dim light. And yet, there were but 4 figures standing in that vicinity, myself included. 4? Hold on one second. You're saying there were only 4 witnesses at the crime scene tonight? These eyes may be old, but they know what they saw. Is something the matter, Miss Mary? No, it's just that Snowy and I are trying to remember what happened at the time. I remember the flames erupting into the air. That's when Snowy and I made our mad dash to save the precious milk. And when those 2 ruffians were set ablaze, the flame filled the area with light. In that sudden flash of light, we could see that there were other people around besides ourselves. And that's when I saw them. The other people had scrambled to the scene along with us. I'm quite sure that there were only 4 of us there at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Hold on, madam. What in blazes is going on? We have 5 witnesses on the stand, all claiming to have witnessed tonight's events firsthand. That means we have 1 witness too many.
Don't be stupid! Boy, you lot better start speaking out of turn. All for one and one for all, remember? We all promised to take this witch down together, didn't we?
It's not quite that simple. We saw what we saw. Well, I say it's all about the numbers. And I counted! I counted, I say! I'll have you know my counting is flawless. On nights when sleep eludes me, I can count sheep from moonrise to sunrise. 4 witnesses, 5 witnesses, what difference does it make? Things all started getting muddled when you showed up.
Oh, what the? This ain't my fault. I was there, you fool. Didn't I just finish saying that? My testimony is strong as steel, even if it's not completely stainless. Order, I said order. What is going on here?
To claim the number of witnesses does not add up? I have never paid witness to such an outrageous conflict. There's but one answer to this puzzle. A single possibility.
What do you mean?
Without a doubt, magic must have been used at the scene of the crime. Furthermore, it would indeed appear that there were only 4 witnesses present at the scene. And yet, currently, we are faced with 5 witnesses testifying in the court. This certainly is quite a fatal contradiction, with only one possible answer. Would you not agree, Mr. Wright? The answer can't be.
Well, out with this supposed answer, you Sir Blue Knight.
What is your explanation for the current number of witnesses? One of them is the witch. While it might seem far-fetched, the reality is actually rather simple. The real witch, and the real murderer in this case, is actually one of these 5 witnesses.
Oh. What?
You're telling us that the witch is amongst this group of witnesses.
What other rubbish?
There could be no possible way that such a correct claim could be true.
Well, that's right. We got a lot of nerve accusing one of us of being a witch.
We've told you nothing but the truth, and yet you still have the gall to bat around such an outrageous accusation.
Behold as my trusty shield deflects your petty words like the petty words that they are.
Inquisitor Barnum. Yes, my lord? I would like to see a sketch of the crime scene at the time of the incident. Do you have one in your possession? Yes, certainly, my lord. I have one right here. I requested it from the court illustrator just in case. Very well. Witnesses, I would like each of you to mark your location at the time of the murder. Here on this crime scene sketch. Quickly now. The number of witnesses doesn't add up. It looks like we're getting somewhere now, but we haven't even scratched the surface of this case yet. And it's all thanks to this top hat wearing gentleman. The court accepts this crime scene sketch into evidence. If one of the witnesses is a witch, that could mean only one thing. Somebody here isn't telling the truth. That would indeed appear to be the case, Mr. Wright. Listen well, Sir Blue Knight. The path you tread now is a dangerous one. Claiming that a witch is among these most honorable witnesses is a serious accusation. Should it prove to be a false one, you will find yourself at the other end of my sword. Do I make myself clear? Huh? But that wasn't so much my suggestion. I mean, the gentleman here with the lovely top hat was the one who urged me to say it. It is the same thing, Sir Blue Knight. Indeed, it is the same thing, Sir Baker. It is the same thing, Mr. Wright.
Oh boy. Now, ready your sword.
Ready? Were you listening? You claim the witch is not the accused, and someone else at the crime scene was the true culprit. If what you say is true, then surely you can tell the court exactly where this person was at the scene of the crime, can you not? Now, Sir Blue Knight, only you can enlighten us as to who this real witch actually is. Sir Doughy Defender. Show us where the witch was the exact moment the murder took place.
Got it!
The witch must have been standing here.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? Unfortunately for you, that spot has absolutely nothing to do with any of these witnesses.
Objection!
Inquisitor Barnum, I suggest you try taking a look at this. The Grand Grimoire? According to this tome, Ignaz summons a circle of flame within 1 meter radius of the caster. In other words, the witch had to have been within 1 meter of the flame when casting the spell.
Objection!
Of course, you needn't say any more, Sir Blue Knight. First off, notice that there is no one else in that area other than the accused. It should also be quite obvious from the sketch that there is clearly nowhere for anyone to hide.
Objection!
True, there aren't any hiding spots. However, there is one other possibility if a witch wanted to stay hidden from sight. Most intriguing. Since you seem to love showing evidence, prove it. How was the witch able to hide in plain sight? The vanishing spell, of course.
Take that!
The Telia Magica contains 2 magic gems. Ignaz and the other spell. That's right, the spell Demir. Demir. Ah, it cannot be. That's right. There was most certainly a witch present at the crime scene, only they were completely invisible. All thanks to the magic spell Demir.
What foolishness is this? Order in the court. Defender, what are you getting at?
I thought the witch used Demir to make the Telia Magica disappear.
Objection!
According to the Grand Grimoire, under the entry for Demir, it causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. In other words, supposing the witch were holding the staff in one hand while touching part of their body with the other, they would be able to make themselves disappear.
Are you implying that the reason for this conflicting number of witnesses?
Indeed it is. Which means, witnesses, someone amongst you is not disclosing the entire truth, and that person is the witch we seek. I know it didn't say that, but I thought that was better. I believe this is the most probable scenario. Honorable witnesses, you will testify to the court one final time. Tell us exactly what you saw and what you did not see at the scene of the crime. How absurdly absurd! The purpose of this trial is to convict that girl of the crime, is it not?
That's right. We're not witches.
Witnesses, I ask that you listen. There is a witch mingling among you. That's right, I'm afraid you are all no longer brothers in arms. The true opponent here is within your own group. The real witch is one of these 5 witnesses, huh? Fine by me. Time to put an end to this trial. You wish to know where we are all standing tonight? It matters not. Would the flames not burn just the same? That flame, I never saw anything like it. It quite literally left me speechless. I couldn't even so much as scream.
I heard the tiniest cry when I was turned around. The blighters were roasting, so I rushed right over.
I heard the incantation, then the flames suddenly erupted. I'm certain of it. I saw only 3 people there with us. As I said, there were only 3 others present, like that man there who was stumbling around like a newborn calf. A most heinous act indeed. No small wonder that these witnesses are so confused. A witch amongst the witnesses. What an utterly baseless claim. I don't think so, Barnum. The only baseless claim in this case is of Espella being a witch. It's more than a little likely one of these witnesses is the culprit. These testimonies are bound to tell me who the real witch is.
Hold it!
So, including yourself, there were a total of 4 witnesses at the crime scene, correct? That is how it has come to pass. By the way, what did you mean by stumbling around like a newborn calf? Ah, yes. That was a man as inebriated as he was loud. Quite the humorous sight it was, I dare say. He must mean the witness permanently glued to his cup of whatever it is he's drinking. When I saw the flames rise up into the sky, I wondered to myself, my word, whatever could that be? However, I could not simply walk over to check. My knees were a bit weak from shock, you see. That's when the wobbly-legged gentleman came running over.
Hang on!
Is something the matter, mister? Mister!
Ah! Well, turn down the volume, Bluey.
That's my line. Sir Blue Knight, next time please think before trying to press this witness. Looks like this guy even managed to scare Barnum half to death. Now then, sir, about Mr. Wordsmith's testimony just now. He claimed that you were stumbling around. What does he mean by that?
I'm gonna set the record straight right now. In no way was I stumbling around anywhere. I'd like to think of it more like staggering with style. Irresponsible adults should know better than to go stumbling around in the dead of night. Hey, look, I don't just go stumbling around like a clumsy idiot. I got more sense than that. But anyway, I kinda tripped over a large stone. I mean, you don't exactly see what's on the ground right in front of you when you're running up full pelt, right? So, you could say I put me life out on the line, proving that you really need to watch where you're going when you run.
How courageous of you. Someone give this guy a medal. My lord, this testimony is a meaningless waste of everyone's time. Well, defender, is there a point to this particular line of questioning? Question further. The witness stated he stumbled over a large stone. Mister, I have one question for you. Why weren't you watching what was in front of you?
Well, to be honest with you, ain't much of a real reason, but something suddenly caught me attention. Out of nowhere, I sort of heard someone call out me name.
You heard your name?
Of course, I turned around when I heard it. Who wouldn't? When a woman calls your name, you pay attention, am I right?
So, you heard someone call out, hey you, from behind, you mean?
What? I said they called out me name. How many guys do you know called hey you? Me name is Emir. And don't you forget it, Bluey, you hear me?
I must say, this gentleman really does not strike me as an emir. You know, Professor, that's not a very memorable name, huh? That's harsh. Honorable witnesses, is there anyone among you who is aware of this man's name prior to now? Not at all, he's always just been Mister to me.
A knight's name is only as good as the name of the sword he carries.
It is the first I've ever heard of this. I dare say I did not expect his name to be one such as Emir. sorry, I didn't know his name either. I only remember the names of my most loyal customers. Okay, looks like absolutely no one knew this witness's name.
You know, it ain't much of a surprise to me either. Ha 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 ha. But seriously, I definitely heard someone call out my name. When you get to be my age, you really start to wonder when you'll find that true love, you know? I thought that pretty voice tonight might have been me sweetie.
Your Honor, I don't believe we should be so quick to label Mr. Emir's testimony meaningless. Would you not agree? I request that the witness add this amusing anecdote to his testimony.
Understood.
Witness, amend your testimony, but please reflect only the important parts of your story.
I'm telling you, heard someone call me name and I was looking around trying to find them.
Hold it!
Excuse me, Emir.
Ah, don't sweat it, Bluey. Mister, hey you, it's all the same to me.
You stated that you heard your name being called from behind. Are you absolutely sure about that?
Ah, well, right or wrong, it sounded like me name. I mean, what else could it have been? I wouldn't have remembered it happening if I hadn't heard something, right? Still. Maybe there's a chance I just imagined it, huh? But anyway, I remember it came from somewhere behind me.
From somewhere behind you. Is something the matter, Mr. Wright? Mr. Emir's memory isn't the most accurate, but if what he says is true, then there's definitely something here. Something, you say? What you mean? A contradiction? Yeah, I think so. Although, I don't know. It's just something strange about his testimony. I don't see any decisive evidence in the court record that can help. Do you mean to say you found a contradiction that cannot be supported by the evidence?
Objection!
My lord, this line of interrogation is a complete waste of the court's time. Defender, I must warn you from here on. Any unnecessary questioning will be dealt with accordingly.
If I don't answer correctly here, it's curtains for the trial and for a speller.
If you are intent on finding a fault in this witness's testimony, you will need to present decisive evidence to back up your claims.
There's not one single piece of decisive evidence in the court record. What do I do now?
Mr. Wright,
Mr. Layton,
I have an idea.
I believe there is a weapon of sorts with which you may be able to expose this contradiction without the need of evidence. A weapon?
Now, defender, give us your answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The defense finds that the witness's testimony contains a clear contradiction. Your Honor, the defense believes there is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony.
Objection!
What is this? You must be an even bigger fool than I thought, Sir Blue Knight. You really do not possess even a sliver of common sense, do you?
Objection!
If I may interrupt for a moment, Inquisitor Bonham, allow me to ask you this. What need is there for common sense in a world that forgoes using it? Accordingly, I must humbly ask that you discard such a manner of thinking.
Whatever do you mean?
You have my utmost thanks for placing your trust in me, Mr. Wright. Let us discuss one remaining weapon in this cross-examination. The remaining weapon? This trial has taught us a valuable new technique to be used in the courtroom, has it not? You mean questioning, right, Professor?
Indeed it is, Luke.
Each of the witnesses in the trial has given their own account of what happened. Therefore, whenever one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. That gives me an idea. In addition to catching the witness off guard and questioning them about another's testimony, there is one more thing. There's something else we can get from a 5-person cross-examination? That's right, of course. Indeed, Mr. Wright, contradictions. Should one witness' testimony differ from the other's testimony, then I suppose that in itself can be considered a contradiction, can it not? Testimony, contradiction, testimony. I would have never thought about that until now. Enough. Sir Blue Knight, are you prepared to present to the court evidence proving the contradiction within this witness's testimony? The witness's testimony does not contradict any evidence. It contradicts a testimony. What are you talking about? It is time, Mr. Wright. Have a look at the touchscreen.
Objection!
The person contradicting this man's testimony is none other than you, Miss Kira. Are you both pointing at me? I can't see. At the time of the incident, that man heard someone's voice call his name. That voice belonged to you, Miss Kira. It could not have been anyone else. And yet, in your testimony, you stated that you were in such shock during tonight's events that you couldn't even speak. This is a clear contradiction.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this, defender? Can you really claim to trust this sham of a witness and his sham of a testimony?
Objection!
That man's character is beside the point. His testimony is anything but a sham. As he watched the flames erupt, his attention was drawn to a voice behind him, which made him turn and fall over. He heard a woman's voice calling his name, a very concrete reason and reason enough to believe his testimony.
Objection!
If it was, as you say, then explain why you feel this witness is somehow responsible. That's right, why me? People barely hear me when I'm out selling my flowers. That's how soft my voice is. And besides, there was another woman at the scene, wasn't there? Me? What are you getting at, young lady? You honestly think a woman my age would be out late at night in the forest, flirting with questionable men? Besides, I don't even know this pathetic man's name. How could I have called out to him? Neither did I, and even if I did know his name, do you really think he was the kind of guy any self-respecting girl would want? Come on, ladies, I'm standing right here, you know? As I was saying, the only person this guy could have heard from behind him was you, Miss Kira. The defense wishes to present evidence to prove this claim. To accuse a witness like this young lady here, why, this is simply unheard of. I must warn you, defender, if you cannot prove your accusation in court, you will see the underside of my gavel. Show us the evidence proving this young lady was the one who called out this man's name at the time of the crime.
Take that!
Take a look at this and you'll have your answer. This is the crime scene sketch. You can see the position of each witness during the crime. The only person that could have possibly heard from behind him was none other than Miss Kira.
Objection!
Listen here, Sir Blue Knight. I will only tell you this one more time. A sham of a witness yields only a sham of a testimony. That's all there is to it. This guy's getting it hard. Nobody's letting up on him. In fact, no, did you in fact see this flower girl's face?
You know, now that you mention it, seeing as I'd fallen down and all, I don't think I saw her face.
Okay, but you heard her voice, right?
Let me think. The voice came out of nowhere, kind of high-pitched. And I guess it sounded kind of like her. But I can't say whether or not this was a girl's voice.
And there you have it, Sir Blue Knight. Such a pity. Huh?
My lord, it's clear that the defense's claim is nothing but a pointless waste of the court's time.
I recommend you deliver unto them a penalty of befitting such behavior. Indeed, Inquisitor. Ready yourself, defender. What's that laughter? Pardon me, my lord. It looks like you finally arrived at a decision. That means it has nothing to do with me. Isn't that right, Inquisitor Bonham?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that it's time for me to stop peddling testimony and get back to peddling flowers. I mean, look at all these flowers left over. It's going to take until sunrise to sell them all if I stay here any longer. Or maybe, my lord, you and the rest of the court would be interested in buying my entire stock of flowers to help a girl out.
I know, I don't think,
Then it's settled. Now, if you'll excuse me, my apologies for the interruption.
Understood. The court will dismiss the witness.
Well, Miss Kira, it would seem that you're beginning to show the court your true colors. Oh, whatever do you mean? Okay then, everyone. It looks like this is that...
Hold it!
Wait, you can't leave yet. This cross-examination isn't over. Now, that's funny. You say it isn't over, and yet the rest of the court seems to think otherwise. Isn't that right, Inquisitor Barnum?
The Inquisition maintains that the real witch is the accused, Espella Cantabella. This girl is nothing more than a witness. As such, the court cannot force her to stay against her will.
This is bad. If they let her walk out now... Nick, do you think she could be the real witch? You really like throwing around accusations, don't you, Sir Defender? Let me spell it out for you one last time, so even you can understand. I didn't know this man's name at all before today. I still don't remember it. So, how could I have called out to him? Do you get it now? Now then, until we meet again, don't forget to buy some flowers on your way home, everyone.
Hold it!
One moment, please, Miss Kira. Is there something else you wanted? You don't seem to realize what you just let slip. What are you talking about? This man testified that he heard his name called at the crime scene. However, you had no knowledge of his name at the time. Is that correct? That's right. This weirdo's just imagining things. Like I said, I've already forgotten his name, even though he told it to us earlier. There is just one problem, Miss Kira. Namely, what the voice he heard tonight was actually saying. Huh?
What do you mean? That's obvious. It's obvious. It was a name, wasn't it? Now, what was that name again?
My lord, I'm still here, you know. You're saying what that man heard tonight wasn't a name, but rather something else entirely? Indeed I am, Inquisitor Bonham. Something else. Aha! There's only one other thing it could be. It's a stretch, but the possibility is there. That's right, Mr. Wright. A single possibility is the key to solving this mystery. Is the defense ready to present its evidence to the court? This is ridiculous. I demand you let me go this instant. Witness, what you are being accused of is not to be taken lightly. You will not leave this courtroom so long as any reasonable doubt remains. Defender, you may present your evidence. Show the court what the voice this man heard tonight was really saying. It wasn't saying Emir, it was saying Demir.
Take that!
Excuse me, mister. I'm sorry. What was your name again? You've, got a name that no one seems to be able to remember for some reason.
Hey, it's Amir. My name's Amir, darn it. How many times we gotta say it?
No matter the number of times you say it, you do not look like an Emir. Again, I only remember my most loyal customers' names, and he doesn't look like he can afford even a single daisy. Come on, guys. Stop kicking a guy when he's down. Mr. Emir, what you heard tonight at the crime scene was not your name. Your name just so happens to sound exactly like a certain other name.
Another name?
The answer is found right here in this tome. I'm talking about Amir.
Amir?
What he actually heard at the time wasn't his own name. It was the name of a magical incantation.
What the?
Miss Kira, have you forgotten what you said just a few minutes ago? You quite clearly stated that you didn't know this man's name.
Objection! Sir Blue Knight, let me get this straight. You're saying that the Amir heard by the witness was actually said by this flower girl, and that it was not a name at all, but rather an incantation of a magical spell. The defense proposes the following. The true criminal, which this supposed witch, is not the defendant, Miss Espella Cantabella, but instead the witness who was heard uttering the magic incantation, Miss Kira. She is our witch. You used magic to vanish from the scene and tried to frame Miss Cantabella instead. No! What just happened? Is that girl, is Espella really not a witch? Unbelievable. I've never heard anything like this. Inquisitor Barnum. Have these two really defeated Inquisitor Barnum? Objection!
An impressive display, Sir Blue Knight. It would seem you have finally managed to hone your blade. However, I believe that blade's edge is already beginning to dull. What do you mean? I am referring to a contradiction, naturally. Hey, that's my line. My lord, the Inquisition would like to set the record straight regarding what transpired this evening. Very well, Inquisitor Barnum. Sir Blue Knight, you claim the following. At the time of the crime, the accused, Espella Cantabella, was surrounded by two rogues. Then, in order to frame the accused as a witch, Miss Kira cast the spell Demir and made herself vanish. She then moved in closer to the victims, at which point she cast Ignace, thus causing the incident seen by our witnesses tonight. Indeed, that does seem to be the claim. The problem is what happened next. There is a contradiction in the defense's account of Miss Kira's movements. A contradiction in her movements? Allow me to continue. The witnesses have stated that each ventured out towards the crime scene. Which is when Miss Kira, the witch, made her way to this point, while still invisible. When she arrived at said spot, she then cast Amir, which reappeared to join the other witnesses. And there you have it. Is that accurate, Sir Blue Knight? That's correct. Then Mr. Amir heard her call his name. Well then, I have but one question I would like you to answer. Why would a witch need to do such a thing? What do you mean? Supposing Miss Kira were a witch, surely she could have made the conscious decision to reappear when she did. One would imagine she would remain hidden and flee the crime scene. Quite right. That's what I'd do if I was a witch. Given that point, there would be no viable reason for her to recite the incantation. In other words, it is inconceivable that this flower seller, Miss Kira, could be a witch. What?
That's right! You all heard it! It's just as Inquisitor Barnum said! Me! A unbelievable!
Not good. She's completely bounced back on her feet. No, we're so close, too. I can't believe Inquisitor Barnum. Can't he seen it? You just have to take one good look at her. It's obvious she's the real witch here. Remember, Mr. Wright, at times like this, a cool head will prevail. Mr. Layton, I'm sure you had to fight your way out of circumstances such as these many times before. This situation is no different. As a defense attorney, what would you usually do at such a time? Wait, what would I usually do? Of course. There's only one thing that can get me out of a situation like this. I've got to flip the case on its head and think outside the box. It would seem the defense has nothing further to add. Why, of course, it's because everyone knows the truth. They know that girl right there is the real witch. That settles it then. Go ahead and deliver your verdict, my lord.
Objection!
The situation is exactly how you described, Inquisitor Barnum. It really doesn't make much sense for the witch to have used a mirror. Regardless, the defense still maintains that Miss Kira did utter that incantation and make herself reappear. Now, the question is, for what reason? If she really didn't have to use that spell, why did she use it in the first place? If I can't find the answer to that question, this entire case will start to unravel. Most fascinating. Very well, allow us to hear this theory of yours. Tell the court why it was necessary for the witch to appear at the crime scene. To cover up her crime. Can't think of any other possibility. That has to be the answer. Isn't it obvious? She was trying to cover up her own crime. Oh, is that right? Tell me, why would she do that? Well, just give me a minute. I'm getting to that part. That would not be necessary. Think about it. What would she have to hide? If no one could have seen her to begin with. I heard the good Inquisitor. No matter how you look at it, there'd be no reason for me to reappear. Assuming I was a criminal, that is. Sorry for all the yawning.
Objection!
Pardon the interruption, but that's not necessarily the case. Mr. Layton. Explain yourself, Sir Top Hat. You have stated that Miss Kira had no reason to reappear. However, the situation changed and it became necessary for her to show herself. Isn't that right, Miss Kira? Huh? Well, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. It would seem the defense must clarify the argument with evidence. Mr. Wright, I believe that Miss Kira did not intend to reveal herself at the crime scene. Rather that something occurred which forced this young lady to make herself reappear. What was so important that she had to reappear and risk being spotted? Defender, tell the court why it would have been necessary for the witch to appear at the crime scene.
Take that!
Miss Kira, you usually wear glasses, is that correct? Huh? It's like I already told you, I lost my glasses a few days ago. Are you absolutely sure about that? Or did you not, in fact, lose them tonight, during the crime? Of course not. Perhaps you accidentally dropped them while you were committing the crime. Then as you were attempting to make your escape, you noticed they were gone. Therefore, you made yourself reappear in order to search for your missing glasses. No!
Objection!
How absurd! Such baseless conjecture!
What you propose is fundamentally flawed.
What do you mean? Let us assume, hypothetically, that what you did, in fact, that the witch did drop this evidence. That does not explain the purpose to which served for her to make herself reappear. It would still make more sense for her to escape under the cover of darkness.
Objection.
Unfortunately, Inquisitor Barnum, such a plan was simply not possible. What? Mr. Wright, do you understand what I'm suggesting? Yes, he means the reason Miss Kira made herself reappear at the crime scene. Okay, this is it. The answer is simple, Your Honor. She couldn't find her glasses. She could not find them? You notice she's still not wearing her glasses right now.
Objection.
Hold on a moment, Sir Blue Knight. What does that have to do with anything? That's right. It doesn't change a single thing.
Objection.
That's where you're wrong. In fact, it changes things quite a bit. Tonight, the two victims were engulfed with flames, courtesy of a magic spell. The very instant 4 witnesses saw the flames erupt at the scene. It was at that point that something you didn't expect occurred. You lost your glasses. That's right, you were scared that if your glasses were discovered at the scene of the crime, you would be suspected of being a witch.
Objection.
What foolishness, even if her glasses were found.
She could simply have explained that she had dropped them here days before the crime happened.
Objection.
I'm afraid that's not a possibility, Inquisitor Barnum.
What did you say?
If you recall, it had been raining quite heavily at the scene beforehand. Had she stated that she dropped her glasses before the crime, then naturally, one would expect the glasses to be soaked in water and covered in mud. However, the rain had already stopped at the time the crime itself was committed. In other words, one look at the pair of clean, dry glasses would reveal she had dropped them later, thus implying her as the witch. Implicating her as the witch. Should have known. I was perfecting my rainfall-rending technique in the forest.
And not once during the rainfall did I see a flower maiden traveling along the nearby path.
That's not all. In order to frame Miss Cantabella as the witch, we needed to leave this witch's scepter behind at the scene of the crime.
I see. That would have been the most definitive evidence that she's the witch.
The objective here was to have somebody else discover the staff at the scene. Alas, that person was I. However, no doubt you came to realize that one can deduce which spells were used simply by examining the magical spells, the gems in the scepter. In this case, one can see that the witch must have used Demir to vanish from sight and make her escape. That's why, Miss Kira, you were left with no option but to appear at the crime scene. That was the only way for you to avoid suspicion if someone was to discover your glasses at the crime scene. By reappearing, you'd be able to explain that you simply dropped your glasses when you rushed to see what happened. What do you have to say to that, Miss Kira?
You know, I've let you both ramble on and on, but playtime is over. So that's it, then? I'm a witch because I dropped my glasses? I must have said it how many times now? I lost my glasses days ago. Were you even listening? I'll say it again. Over 1,000,000 times! I lost my glasses, I lost my glasses! Do you like evidence, Sir Defender? Do you love proof, Sir Top Hat? Then prove I dropped my glasses at the crime scene. Ha! You can't prove it! In other words, you lose.
That is correct. Proving such a thing would indeed be impossible. To prove the witness dropped her glasses at the crime scene. What say you, Inquisitor Barnum? 'Tis indeed a question of proof, my lord. These glasses have been missing from the very beginning. The Knights of the Inquisition found no trace of these glasses anywhere near the crime scene. Therefore, the witness cannot in any way be accused of being a witch. You heard the man. But we're so close. That girl's a witch! Can anyone see that? Calm down, kid. What should we do, Professor? Well, it seems this young lady has finished what she had to say. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Wright? Yes, it certainly looks that way, Mr. Layton. What's with that face? Did you find something funny here? It is as you said, Inquisitor Barnum. Explain. The defense raises one further question. Why were you unable to find those glasses? What do you mean? You must have searched the area quite thoroughly looking for them. And yet, even now the Knights have been unable to locate those glasses. Did you ever wonder why? Yes, that has become quite the mystery. Surely they must be around here somewhere. The glasses were lost to wolves, as the only explanation. There's still one remaining place that you still have not searched. Huh? What did you say? The glasses were supposedly not found at the crime scene, leaving only one other possible place. What is this? You too. How about you, Sir Blue Knight? Draw your blade and reveal to the court where these glasses are supposedly hiding. Looks like I've somehow managed to make it through my first witch trial. It all comes down to this, the final piece of evidence. Time to clear up this case once and for all.
Take that!
Tonight, there was one thing that was carried away from the crime scene right under everyone's noses. Carried away. I'm speaking, of course, about this. That's the milk bucket that disappeared from the crime scene. Thus far, the defense's claim that the glasses were dropped at the crime scene has been regarded as mere speculation. However, if, Miss Carroll, we find your glasses within the contents of this milk bucket, then our mere speculation will suddenly become fact. What manner of witchery? What are you talking about? You're crazy, just crazy. No way could my glasses be inside that stupid bucket. It's impossible. How about we quit with the speculation and actually find out? What do you say, Inquisitor Barnum? That'll just waste the court's time. Don't listen to them. Don't. 'Tis mandated that the Knights of the Inquisition investigate any and all possibilities during the course of a trial. My lord, the Inquisition requests that this milk bucket be searched immediately. Very well. Oh. What? Miss Kira, as you can see, your glass has been found inside the milk bucket. The truth is out. Nothing you can say can change that now. Which leads us to the next question. Specifically, a number of question one, did you drop your glass into the milk bucket? What? Why is this happening? This whole thing is ridiculous. The answer is obvious, isn't it? I dropped them afterwards, after I ran over to see the fire. I took a tiny peek inside that milk bucket. That's when they fell in.
Objection!
Don't be stupid, child. Snowy and I were at the scene first.
We made sure that to take that milk bucket before anyone else could get their grubby little hands on it. We weren't going to let a single soul get anywhere near that sweet, creamy bucket of deliciousness. You can bet my farm on that. Each of these 4 witnesses stated they heard the spell, Ignace being cast at the time of the incident. According to the Grand Grimoire, Ignace summons a flame within 1 meter radius of the castle. In other words, the real witch must have been at Miss Cantabella's side at the time of the incident. Indeed, that is when the glasses fell into the milk bucket. Therefore, there's only one logical conclusion. Only one person who could be the true witch.
Miss Kira, you are the real witch.
The one taking a poop over there. What a very strange trial this has been. From the very beginning, we've all paid witness to a most unusual set of circumstances. A baker turned defender, a surprise extra witness, and now a not guilty verdict for the accused. Never have I seen such a spectacle. Is this really happening? The girl inside the cage, you mean she's the real witch? But what about that Espella Cantabella girl?
Miss Kira, tell us why. Why were you trying to frame Miss Cantabella?
You could easily have escaped the crime scene without a trace. There was no reason to frame anyone. This crime was a result of nothing but your overwhelming ill intent.
To frame a person as a witch is to condemn that person to death by fire.
I don't know. I do it every day.
Surely you must know this. So why Espella Cantabella?
Do you have any idea what it feels like to be a witch?
What it feels like?
I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for these powers, but I have them. And now here I am, begging for my life. I was living such a peaceful life until now. Selling flowers, getting scolded by my boss for not selling enough of them. That's why I was trying to put an end to these trials once and for all.
Put an end to the trials.
You all know what I mean! The one condition written in the story that will end these witch trials!
When the great witch Bezella has been put to the flames and vanquished from this world, these trials will come to an end.
This was my chance to finally end all this. At least that's what I thought. The sun had begun to set on that lonely forest path, and there wasn't a soul in sight. I always carried my hidden Telea Magica with me in case of a moment like this. I used my magic to expose that girl for what she really is. If I had been successful, then all these trials would finally end and I could go on living my peaceful life.
What? What are you saying? Am I hearing this correctly? Are you actually accusing Espella Cantabella?
Why do you think no one has ever seen the legendary Great Witch? It's because she's been hidden in our midst the entire time. She's protected. She's hidden from us. It's all part of the story.
Part of the story?
Objection! That's enough! Speak no more. A witch's existence cannot be justified.
No, please! I know you've all noticed it too! You could end this! All of this! That girl! It's all because of that girl! I beg you! Please! Please release me! Knights of the Court! Isn't it your duty to protect the people of this town? Give me another chance!
That is where you're wrong.
Huh?
'Tis indeed a knight's duty to protect. We are impelled to protect the citizens of Labyrinthia against you and your ilk. The reason you were offered my protection until now was because your guilt was uncertain. There was the possibility that you were not a witch. The circumstances were such that it seemed another was guilty. That possibility has since disappeared, and your innocence along with it. You now find yourself at the other end of my sword.
No!
Vile witch, enemy of Labyrinthia, may the fires purge you from this land!
Hold it! Please, wait! Stop! Please, just stop this!
Spella!
If it means putting an end to these horrible trials, let me take her place. Let me be Bezella. Send me to the flames. But please, if it would save her life.
This trial has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this flower seller, Kira, is a witch. And according to the law, all those found to be witches will be executed.
Did he say executed? He can't mean.
This is most unsettling.
Bailiff, ready the fire.
No!
No! Don't do this!
Huh? Listen to me! Don't let her fool you! Isabella is the Great Witch! Hear me! There's no time to waste! She's Bezella! Take her! And then these witch trials will be no more! The witch trials will end!
Just a woman getting burned alive. Some wholesome Nintendo entertainment. So far, we've always managed to pull off a win and get a not guilty verdict, but winning has never felt this depressing. Oh, Espella, are you alright? Yes, I just want to thank all of you. You all came to my rescue yet again. Well, yeah, of course we did. Hold on a sec, Espella. What did you just say just now? You all came to my rescue yet again. You don't mean... Yes, I remember everything. I suppose this makes it the second time we've met, and the second time all of you have helped me. Mr. Wright, am I to infer that you and Espella have met before? Yeah, it seems that way. You too, Mr. Layton? Perhaps it would be best if we briefed each other on what has transpired. Okay, what should we discuss? Spella paid us a visit in London. She had in her possession a letter from an old acquaintance of mine. Is that right? Mr. Accidenti helped drive Espella straight into out of Labyrinthia. You both kept me safe from the witches that were chasing me. Wait, did you say witches? So they appeared in London too? Regrettably, I'm unable to say if our protection was absolute. When we saw you last, it seemed that you managed to escape courtesy of that passing freighter. Oh yeah, that's right. What happened to you after that, Espella? I rode the ship along the river for a while before arriving at a nearby port, and then... That's when I met Mr. Wright and Maya. I didn't know where the ship would end up. I felt very lonely out there. Please accept my sincerest apologies. I'm afraid there was nothing else I could do to prevent it. No, don't blame yourself, Mr. Layton. I just don't know what to do, so I tried looking for something, anything on the ship that might help me. Boy, you sure found something, all right, or rather, someone. You ran into a master thief working as part of the ship's crew. Yes, that's right. Did you say Master Thief? Crikey, that's amazing. Wouldn't exactly say it was amazing. After that, I was taken to court, and that's when Mr. Wright helped me. I see. Then perhaps, somewhat deep within your mind, you must have existed a memory of that previous trial, and of Mr. Wright. Hence why you thought to seek out his help when you found yourself in such an unfortunate situation this evening. It makes sense. After all, Nick did make legal history that day in jolly old England. Did you say make history? Wow, that's incredible, right, Professor? I wouldn't say I made history. But then, after that, I was never able to find my way back to the Professor. Even after I went through the pains of finding that clue, it ended up being taken away from me. A clue, you say? Yes, the tag that was hanging around the neck of that sweet little stuffed toy. That tag was a clue? A clue for what? Okay. I had a lot of time to think while I was on that ship. I thought about a lot of things. Like how to try and find a way back once the ship arrived at its destination. Things like that. Find a way back. A way back to Mr. Layton and Luke. They were the only ones I knew I could depend on to help me. The pleasure was ours, Isabella. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't remember the name of the town where they lived. Huh? You mean London, Isabella? Oh, that's it, London. That's what was written in Carmine's letter to Mr. Layton. The blue teddy bear I found in the room was wearing a tag around its neck. Sorry, Isabella, but PC Badger looks nothing like a teddy bear. On the tag, in very small letters, was written London. I recognized the name of the town. I thought it might be an address. That's because the stuffed toy was used in a special promotion run by the London Metropolitan Police. Oh, that's right. Isabella, you must have known that address was super important, so that's why you kept the tag, right? That way you could meet up with Mr. Layton and Luke again. I just felt so lonely and helpless. I wonder, though, who do you think really did it? Hit Olivia over the head with a pipe, I mean. What's this? Oh yeah, I guess we never did find out who the real culprit was. I do believe I may have some connection to that may have some connection to the group of witches. What? You mean the witches were chasing us through London? Indeed, it could be that they noticed your escape onto that ship and managed to infiltrate their own way aboard. Could it be? So, you're saying there was some big scary witch lurking around inside that cargo hold? I'm afraid there's a rather high probability that was the case. Those witches were intent on seeing you brought back to Labyrinthia no matter what. However, in order to do so, they had to make certain that you did not become entangled in any situation that may stall your capture. Ah, in other words, the situation with Miss Al Dente, you mean? Precisely. They must have knocked that crew member unconscious and attempted to recapture Isabella before the police could arrive. However, their plan was clearly foiled, given that you ended up in court regardless. And that's when she became my client. I can't remember anything clearly from what happened back then. Do you think there's a possibility that someone was pulling Isabella's strings through the entire trial? Hey, maybe you're right. There was something a little strange about Isabella at the time. Mr. Wright, Isabella was introduced to you at the time as a schoolgirl, is that correct? Yes. She would have no knowledge of the world outside of Labyrinthia. That being the case, having her stand in as the English courtroom, as she was, could pose a serious problem. Meaning that someone must have been attempting to cover up Isabella's identity. What? But Professor, could someone really do that? That they could indeed, Luke, and if it is as I suspect, I believe our adversaries may be far more powerful than we originally thought. Just exactly who or what are we dealing with here? Hey guys, let's head back to the bakery for now. I bet the boss is waiting for us with one heck of a pastry feast. Actually, I can't go home just yet. Huh? You can't? Oh. Well, there's still a couple legal procedures to be taken care of before I can go home. Please, you'll go ahead without me. Is that so? Very well. Just try not to commit any crimes on your way back. I really must thank you all. Thank you so much for everything. Alrighty then, Espella. We'll catch you later. Yes, farewell for now. Mr. Wright, please allow me the pleasure of a proper introduction. My name is Herschel Layton. I'm a professor of archaeology in London. A professor? Huh. Well, my name is Phoenix Wright. I'm an attorney. As I suspected, you're no ordinary baker after all, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I thought it was pretty weird myself, to be honest. I mean, I really did believe I'd been a baker all my life. But the more everyone kept saying it, the less sure I was actually true. That it was actually true. Just where did that memory come from, anyway? Hey, Professor, if Mr. Wright is an attorney, that must mean he's as smart as you, right? I wouldn't go that far. But behind every ace attorney, there's an even smarter, not to mention beautiful, witty, and utterly amazing ace assistant. I think you also forgot humble. My name's Luke Triton. I'm the professor's apprentice. I'm Maya Fey, and I'm Nick, and Nick here is my apprentice. Isn't that right, Nicky boy? Nicky boy. Hey, wait, why am I your apprentice? Anyway, we should all head back to the bakery. Let's get a move on. I'm sure Espella will be back before we know it. I would not get your hopes up about that, Sir Blue Knight. Inquisitor Barnum. Most impressive work tonight. 'Tis a shame you have kept such ability hidden till now. Trust me, Nick's lawyer abilities beat the pants off his baking abilities any day of the week. Okay, moving on. What do you mean by that, Inquisitor? Why can't Espella go home? New charges have been brought against Miss Espella Cantabella. What? No way, that can't be right. You have realized it, haven't you? She is being charged under suspicion of being the Great Witch Bezella. She what? How can that be? Am I to assume that charge is based purely on Miss Kira's accusation? It was not I who made the decision. Regardless, the girl will return to court at the appointed time for further trial. Until then, I am to seek out any and all evidence pertaining to the Great Witch. Pardon me, Inquisitor, what exactly is this appointed time? The investigation into this allegation will conclude on the day of the storyteller's next parade. That would be 2 weeks from today. Following our investigations into the matter, the trial of the Great Witch shall proceed. What the? It would appear that the girl has been withholding a dark secret from you all. Espella. Espella Cantabella's questioning is set to begin shortly. That means visiting hours are over. I recommend you leave immediately. Espella, the legendary Great Witch Bezella? The story that dictates the fate of an entire town, and now a so-called Great Witch named Bezella. Most intriguing. It would seem to be up to us to uncover the answer to these mysteries. But how are we supposed to manage it all in 2 weeks? Where are we going to find any evidence? You know, I was thinking, how do you address a Great Witch? Oh, hail to thee, O magnificent magical one? Or maybe just, what's up, witchy baby? What's difference would it make? She's not called a Great Witch. That's not someone I'd ever want to meet. Oh, she's called a Great Witch. It's not someone I'd ever want to meet. I believe I thought of a solution to our problem. It's actually rather simple. Professor Layton, allow me to explain, Mr. Wright. The one way we may be able to solve this mystery, the mysteries of this town as its residents, is if we join forces. He's right. We've come this far. There's no way we're going to give up on Espella. Okay, I'm on board. I look forward to teaming up with you, Professor. Me too, Luke. Me too, Maya. Now then, shall we press on? This marks the beginning of our own story, one dictated by ourselves and written by our own hands. Alright, so that chapter is concluded. It seems that we have stumbled on to our next plot. And so I'm going to save it here, and we will continue on next time with Chapter 3. I hope everyone's enjoying this. It seems like the story's really getting rolling here. We'll have more puzzles next time, no more court cases for a little bit. And hope everyone enjoys. Tomorrow we'll be starting a new game. I still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do, but it'll be something new. It'll be an adventure game. So look forward to that, and we'll have more of this on Sunday, starting Chapter 3, and then more of that new game again on Monday, more Wario Land 4 on Tuesday, and back to Judgment on Wednesday. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will see you next time.